we're live, Zippy. We're live. Right, hold on, let me just make it so that we're both. It's funny, I should have done this earlier, but I only just decided that it would be nice to do a live stream on a Monday. I haven't done one for a couple of weeks because I was in London, and then I had a friend staying, and somehow it didn't feel, I didn't feel like it. There you are. I have to be honest. Good morning. Is it really the 19th of October today? Is it? Yes. Well, time's flying. How are you all doing? I haven't struck this bowl for a while. Funny how we get so wrapped up in other things. It's not that I haven't been on this iPad. I have been reading, of course. Great pleasure reading these books. This is the English one, Prelude to the Landing on Planet Earth by Stuart Allwright. It was published in 1977. A beautiful book. It's about a journey to the Middle East, through the Middle East in the 1974 and 1975, to prevent nuclear catastrophe on this planet of ours, on this planet Earth. Yeah, it's amazing stuff going on, isn't it? And maybe it was just as well I didn't come on the last 2 weeks with my live stream because, gosh, it's quite warm here. It's quite sunny today, isn't it? I'm going to take this off because I'm getting a bit warm. I've been out already this morning. Got to book my car into the MOT, which I've done. Seems there's more people who have overdue MOTs and stuff with the COVID thing, which seems to still be going on. Weird to go shopping and see all these masks still going on. I'm a bit surprised about people. You noticed I've got COVID hair. COVID hair. COVID hair because I am not going to have my hair cut by somebody in a visor, thank you very much. Nor am I prepared to wear a mask. Now, I'm doing alright. These are strange times, aren't they? All through the summer I've been doing these live streams, and I've been really enjoying them because it gave me the feeling of being in contact with people. I have myself, I've never worn a mask, and it's funny, the last few live streams I did of a morning, I've been reading this book, as I said, aloud, and I'm reading it in German now, and it always seems to stop for like 30 seconds at around this time of the morning. How very strange. So, this is random, isn't it? Because in the past, I used to just play drum circles, particularly in the earlier ones, because that's what I love doing, drum circles. And thankfully, I have like 700 or something circles on my YouTube channel, so I can look at them when I want to. At the moment, I'm quite preoccupied with other things. First of all, I'm reading these books, which are about talking about an imminent landing on planet Earth. Imminent being in a difficult word, isn't it? Imminent for us seems like tomorrow. But this book was written in the 70s and published 1974. 77 it was published. And they haven't landed yet. Well, not with big spaceships and so on. But the questions about it are amazing, and the answers are fabulous. And so I have been quite wrapped up in that, to be honest. I have been in my own world, I dare say. Of course I see some friends, but I don't find walking along the high street and so on as pleasurable anymore as I used to, because I find it really dystopian. Now, each to their own, each person has their own idea about what's going on, but I watch no news anymore because I don't trust the BBC anymore, and I'm not paying my license. So I'm only getting my information from alternative news, which I trust more, UK Column and people like Sasha Stones. And there's loads and loads of different perceptions of what's going on, and I always loved the larger picture. I like the big picture, you know. I love this book, The Only Planet of Choice, even more so, which was a collection of questions and answers over 20 years, well 18 years actually. It took 18 years to put this book together. And it is largely questions and answers. And I remember when I read it very first in 2011, in fact I made myself a little inscription when I lived in by Fisherman's Walk. July 8th, 2011, to me, for learning. Now, it landed up in the loft. I remember reading it and banging on about it, and I met a lot of people who did channeling at that time in 2011 and 2012, and of course since then know a lot of channels, people who are channeling. And I guess I've always been told when I'm doing my drum circles that spirit is present, and it didn't take me long to realize that that is so. Orbs on my pictures, and of course also when you play together in harmony, there is a spirit rising. You don't need to see a figure appearing, you just feel it within the group dynamics that there is a harmony and a, you know, being on the same vibe, really. And that's why for me non-verbal communication is really good, because you don't actually need to know people's opinion about the world, whether it's flat or round, or whether whatever. All you need is to know how to tap your foot to music. And there are some people who have a bit of problems with rhythm, but actually that is only something they learned. You know, somebody once told them, you have no rhythm, or you have no voice, or you have no this, no that. Ever more so, I realized in the last 6 months, because I've been studying much, not that I didn't know it, but the first 7 years of any child are simply acquiring a programming from your environment. And it's completely logical, because you come as a soul in a body for experiencing babyhood, childhood, toddlerhood, you know, teenagehood, adulthood on this planet. And reading these books certainly did something to my brain, that's for sure. But so if you're a baby, you're completely subjected to everybody's experiences, and they are condemned to you, being there like a, you know, a clean, pure sheet of paper. And then you hear arguments, and then you have fighting, and then you have a stressed mum, and then you have a stressed dad, and all of that forms you. I mean, it's logical. We know it all, really, because, you know, you hear people saying he's like his father. I mean, I've met so many men who the idea of being like their father horrified them, and then when they were in their 40s, they suddenly realized they were exactly like their father. Not just men, I might add, because I become more and more like my mum in some things. My mum was alone the last 10 years of her life. This is not the last 10 years of my life. And I've been alone 7 years already. But I quite love it, to be honest, because I was in a partnership for 30 years, so I was well used to being the harmonizer and the equalizer and whatever else you are in a relationship. You know, you all have roles in a relationship. And I think my roles with my ex-husband changed over time, and so we grew apart. That happens, you know. As a kid, I never thought that could happen. I thought you'd marry and that's it for life. My parents were married 50 years and then death parted them, so that was my belief system. And I think at some point, as an adult, you realize already, when you're in the teenagehood, or when you have your first boyfriend, or your second, or your third, you suddenly realize it doesn't always have to be forever. Thank the Lord. Thank God, actually. In fact, when my when my mother passed away, I had a reading with a really good medium, very well known here in this area, Dan Clark. And it was magical because I went to him in the May 2013. You know, I was separated by then, being by myself, and my mum had been very ill, and she passed away in April, which was all very, you know, that was quite a year for me, 2013. But the reading was amazing because Dan was telling me very clear that they were very happy about the funerals we organized. My father, who died 10 years previous to that, and my mother. And they were telling me that they were together, and that they loved being together, and that they were always together, that their souls had, you know, they were probably what you would call now twin souls, although my mum would never, that wouldn't be a word she would associate with. But her and my dad, they were, you know, sweethearts with 16 and 17, and they had this sort of, they had me with 21, they had my sister with 28, so pretty, how would you want to call it? Pretty standard, normal, you know, but my mother always worked, and in fact she worked, and then I spent a year with my grandma because it was just easier, childcare-wise, and then my sister appeared when I was 7, so then the dynamics changed again, and you have that in all families, don't you? Dynamics, family dynamics are fascinating, and so many you meet now. I'm 62. You meet people who say, you know, my partner changed. It's not anymore like he was before, she was before. And I guess, thank God for that. I mean, if you were always staying the way you were, how boring would that be? I mean, there's so much virtue in flexibility as far as I'm concerned. Be flexible. You know, don't stick to what you think has to be. Because we are learning now that the things we stuck to so vehemently were lies and false and falsehood and mind manipulation, you know. I mean, as it is, through my drum facilitator training and so on, you get a lot of insight in the psychology of harmonics and group, you know, group dynamics and how, you know, music has 4 elements, like the planet has 4 elements, like 4 corners on the planet. There is a harmony in nature, you know, and there's harmony in the core of people, deep down. And one good thing happened over these last, now it's 7 months, is that one had time to reflect. Well, I personally, anyway, you know, I work with groups and I work with special needs and the elderly. So you know, these are the groups which are not getting funding, and in fact the things we are finding out about things now make me no longer surprised why sometimes I've got only booked once in a blue moon, because the funding isn't there for it. Why is the funding not there for it? Because they're all private companies. And so we see that the world is not the way we thought it was. But then, we're people, aren't we? You know, regulations. I mean, gosh, most ordinary and normal people are coming up against the system now because it's a wrong system. That's what it is. The problem isn't with people. Well, the problem is with people in believing the system. That's the biggest problem, I would say. This is me and Ali playing this. I do love accompanying myself sometimes, or somebody else accompanying somebody else. There's a dog barking, can you hear? Sorry, I can get lost in this, so I wasn't going to do too much of this today, really. I was going to do a little bit of ranting, but I think I've done that already. Anyway, friends, the world is changing, and I think flexibility is the name of the game. I think the more we are adapting to new circumstances and new ways of being, and the quicker we do that, the better it is. I mean, I will talk about this a bit more because, I mean, there is, of course, complete cures against this what's so-called virus. I mean, all of it is a lie, really. What lie is bigger than the other lies? Who knows? There's too many of them now. The one thing I do not approve of is that people are believing that putting a mask on for 5 minutes is actually saving anybody or making anybody. I'm afraid I had to say to somebody in the shop who I saw him coming in, take this from the car, go into the shop, come out again, take it off, and no, didn't take it off actually, kept it on, and I said, why are you wearing it? And he said, I want to keep everybody safe. I said, well, you're not keeping me safe. And you're keeping yourself safe because this thing is dirty. And he looked at me as if I was mad. Why am I mad? Really? What is the definition of, actually, mad and not mad, normal and not normal? What is this definition? I mean, we all know that everybody in the family has a black sheep. And if you're coming from an Irish family where there's 10 people, and I remember having conversations because I worked in Ireland for a couple of years, or with Irish people for a couple of years. And, you know, our Christmas parties were amazing because you had that, you know, how many children do you have? 10, 11 siblings. And we were laughing because we think, gosh, in every family there must be at least one alcoholic. One person. And I think that's why the Irish have a much more sense of tolerance because, you know, when you sit in the glass house, you shouldn't throw stones. Is that an English saying? Wenn du im Glashaus sitzt, sollst du nicht mit Steinen schmeißen. When you sit in the glass house, don't go and throw stones. Yeah? Because you just give them ammunition. And that's why, you know, I think everybody is a little careful of what they're saying at the moment because, you know, you live in a nice neighborhood and you want to be friendly with neighbors and friends and everybody. And I'm blessed here because I have really nice neighbors, very helpful. But we are avoiding certain subjects because it's just easier not to talk about it. So, you know, none of them wear masks, and I don't know whether they do elsewhere. They don't do here. And maybe that's as good enough as it has to be, right? If you live in an apartment block and half the people there are coming out of their flats with masks, then that must be very hard, and I feel for you. You know, otherwise I'm trying to ignore it, and sometimes when they're very young I say something, right? You could never shut me up, that's the problem. I'm just a talker. Everybody who knows me knows that. I guess that's why God gave me this idea. Don't you think? That's what I think. I mean, I don't even believe that there's such a thing as coincidence. You know? I think nothing is coincidence. I think everything is divinely guided now. But you have choices, and some choices are better than others. And if they feel good, then it's good. If they feel bad means what anyway? If a choice feels, it makes you feel a bit anxious. Like I remember the first time I had decided never to wear a mask, wondering whether anybody would look at me. But actually, I've been asked a couple of times, and I just said no, and that was the end of that. I don't know, maybe it's because I have an attitude. She has an attitude. Is that a good thing? It's always a bad thing. You got an attitude. I wish a few more people had an attitude. That's one of the reasons I came to England for. I thought people had an attitude. Because in Germany, which is funny really, because now the Germans are really protesting, at least they are in Berlin. And in many other places. Of course you don't hear it, because it won't be televised. They always said the revolution will not be televised, so that's that, if you watch the news only. But there's UK column, and I mean, it won't take you 2 minutes to Google if you want the truth. But then, what's more comfortable to you? I know that the best lessons in my life usually came through arduous, something arduous. You know, you lose a job, you lose this, you lose that, and all of that business. And I remember being so worried about my credit rating. I mean, that was, I remember that, you know, I don't know, a decade ago, well, probably the last 15 years or so, credit rating, well, 10 years maybe, credit rating. And I mean, this Experian ad, if I think about it, obviously I subscribed, I even paid for the pleasure for these people to find out how valuable a person I am. I mean, it's ludicrous. But they had these two people, didn't they, in Experian credit? I mean, talk about plain sight. Legal fiction and real person. I think the problem is the younger generation has been completely brainwashed into believing it's okay. I remember when I told my ex-husband about my credit rating needing to be better, he was going, what's that, credit rating? He doesn't watch anything like that and is retired. And I said, credit rating, you don't know about credit rating? No. What is that? Who gives them information? I said, well, I don't know, Vodafone, all of them. That's weird. He said, did I pay for it? And there you are. Experian, Bakerian, Schmuckerian. England isn't even open. I mean, for goodness sake. Who cares about their credit rating? I don't. I don't know. I think there is a strange thing which has gone on in the world the last few years, and thinking that it's okay to actually show you that you have a straw man and you're actually a real person, and they put it on an advertisement. I mean, jeez. I didn't even realize, I have to tell you guys, I didn't realize either. But I'm realizing now, and I'm studying, because I think studying is good. So is drumming. Let's have a little bit of... Yeah, I never do this very long, as you know, because I don't want to bore anybody. There's a lot of boring people as it is on this planet. But there are also really interesting people on this planet. Tin Waiter at the Beehive. I did like that. It's a nice one. This is where I go.
So that's you. Now imagine if you now go me, M-E-E-E-E. Try that, you'll see what difference in sound this makes. Just to give you, this activates the crown chakra. This puts you in touch with what is above. Take a deep breath in, please. Raise the M and then just make it E now. It's even stronger. Breath through the nose, please. Fantastic. As I do that, I feel electrical charge all the way down this hand I'm not using, which is then when I'm doing sound healing activation, I use it as a guide. It's just projecting sound. You may be feeling that as well. So if we now go, so that's quite strong, it's great you're doing that. In music we have these lovely Italian words we use, so that's sort of forte for pianissimo. But if we go mezzo piano, which is sort of medium quiet, on an R, so an R is actually the heart opening sound. So try that on the same pitch, with a sweetness.
The beehive.
You're sounding great. We're moving this, we're sort of fast tracking this, obviously.
Harmonics. I love this, sorry, I've got, what is this? I do love this kind of music. I listen much to this. Better close this down because the gremlins don't like it if you use music. It is not your own. I also use these. You can't hear it. It's 136.1 C minor, I think this is. And I do it for healing. Because it's beautiful, and you can also use it to send the vibrations into your system. It's beautiful. I keep forgetting to use it, and I have it now lying here so that I don't forget it, because it's very good to vibrate your system. It helps. It helps for clarity, and it helps for equilibrium. Another thing which I've done for equilibrium is that I've been doing pictures again. I was going to sell, I've sold a frame, but I haven't really marketed it. I'm not a big one for marketing. But this is actually for a friend. And it says, out of chaos comes order. And then kindness rocks. And in fact, this frame was actually a little bit, I thought it got too wild, to be honest. But I do, when I do workshops, I give out little numbers in a hat, and then I mark these with the numbers on the back, and so nobody knows what they're going to get. But anyway, that is for another time. The 2021 is sure to come. And then I also did this one the other day, well, other week I think, because I had a postcard from a friend with this planet on there, and I said, I'm going to use this. And then this is an old frame, which wasn't even mine, it was in an old box. So I got it out, and I made this lovely planet Earth on it, with a little heart around it, because since early August I have been doing a Sunday meditation, only 18 minutes, in the evening at 7 o'clock UK time, and 8 o'clock in Germany and 9 o'clock in Israel, because it was recommended in this book, because it's really important that our vibes, it doesn't matter what we, you know, it doesn't matter really what you think. The most important thing is that this planet Earth and humanity overall gets through this period of time with integrity and with positivity, really, because more and more will be revealed, and this will not be an easy time for this planet. I mean, we know it, and if you really look at even any news, you can see that there's a big, how should I say, there's a dissonance, isn't there? It's not a harmonic, it's a dissonance. But you can always find harmony. You know, it's all up to you, really. And from you it starts, and you then give it out, you know. We shouldn't always look from the outside in, we should look from the inside out. And it has been a blessing, really, to have a little bit of time to consider these things. I'm writing on my book, and, you know, I've done things differently. Because I'm also, you know, we are all creatures of habit, and, you know, at Monday, I did the live stream on a Monday, because that's what I do. On a Monday, I do music at 11:30, or whenever it was over the last 9 years now. 9 years is also completion, isn't it? And although I will always make music, I do not see myself doing it in the local church anymore of a Monday morning. That is gone. And that's fine. Right? Life changes. Who knows what's around the corner? I'm looking forward to the future. People are recognizing what's going on, and that can only be a good thing. Ignorance is not bliss, you know? It's just simply not. I mean, sometimes you feel in this world as if you know your best girlfriend has been cheated on by your other best girlfriend or boyfriend or husband. You know a secret, and you don't want to tell the person, because they usually kill the messenger. And that's what they do, they kill the messenger. You know, you say, your husband is actually cheating, I saw him with somebody, you're the one who's going to get the blame. So, I'm not saying nothing anymore. I have enjoyed this. I hope it hasn't been too much of a rant. I don't like to rant, or I do actually, but not now. This is for my circles, and it is for my participants who used to come, and the mums who used to come, and I hope your children are fine. I hope they don't have to look people in the eye because they have a muzzle on. Right? New schools are springing up. Homeschooling is great. More of that. more of the future, of a positive future. Zippy, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. And we don't care.